I was up late at night when I realized I didn't like what felt like the majority of season 18 of American Dad. And before we really get into this, I'm a Christian and I don't go to theaters, so the format's not going to be cinema sense. Layla, can you tell the people to subscribe to my channel?
Hey, sure. Wait, I forgot what Alright, hey people, subscribe to Good Boy Dylan, because he's the best YouTuber, and if you don't subscribe to him, then you're missing out on the best content of your life.
I don't understand why they made Jeff borderline brain dead over the course of the show. He just used to be a regular guy with no backbone who Stan and Francine didn't think was good enough for Haley. Now he acts like a legitimate toddler. In earlier seasons he was more naive and slightly dim rather than flat out stupid. This episode made him so stupid he needed to have surgery just to correct it. That's literally the premise. He also likes weed. That's his only other character trait. Fantastic. That's not even the worst part. Haley let him go through with an extremely dangerous surgery with a smile on her face. I just think that's so far out of character, it's nutty. Haley used to be so caring and compassionate. Sure, nobody cared about what she had to say. And I still don't, but that's not the point. She used to actually care. I don't think the episode was bad, it's just a lot of out-of-pocket movements are made to even have the story work. This episode is centered around Stan wanting to become the top comedian in the world. I already don't like the premise of this since I don't think it works, because Stan never mentions ever wanting to be a comedian or comedy in general. Literally could have made it about Stan wanting to be an author since, you know, that was a thing. Then it just gets worse when the whole family demolishes Stan's dreams. The B plot wasn't good, it was just Roger poisoning Steve and Haley because they didn't want to do anything exciting. I know, it's as great as it sounds. Worst part is, it had what I thought was the funniest joke of the episode.
Beguiled? More like, bullshit.
This episode is like a worse version of Tears of a Clooney. In Tears of a Clooney, Stan gave Francine unwavering support. He was even willing to let her sleep with Clooney. Francine's goal was way more outlandish, but Stan couldn't even get a bit of that support. Overall, Francine's portrayal in this season has been absolutely abysmal. So bad, in fact, I thought about trying the Tide Pod challenge in 2021, but more about that later. I've gotta say, the episode just sucked, and Violet Myers wasn't anywhere near this. This is just a worse version of... I'm not reading that, so let's call it the Franny episode. It's literally the same premise. Roger wants to impress a family member or the entire family, so he goes completely overboard doing things like lying and deceiving to achieve that goal. In the Franny episode, it was pretty sweet to see how far Roger would go just to impress Francine, and he doesn't ruin any lives, you know, except the guy who Francine killed. Roger was just a complete jerk here, and there's no comeuppance for him this time around like there usually is in episodes where Roger acts like this. He just ruins somebody's life and the episode pretty much ends. I don't mind rehashing old stories, but nothing cool or interesting happened the entire time. The episode was a broken pencil. It had absolutely no point. I'm not trying to make a point here, but I just thought the B plot was hilarious.
I guess I think about killing myself pretty frequently. You know when I'm happy? For about 5 seconds in the morning when I first wake up. Before I remember who I am, and anxiety, disappointment, diarrhea more often than not.
I actually think this episode is great, but it sets a bad example. We begin with Klaus telling a story, and after being thoroughly disrespected by Roger, he pops off on him, which leads to Roger revealing Klaus as his artistic muse. You have no idea how many times I had to say that. Sounds great at first, but then you're told Roger purposely ruins his life just so he could paint him. You could let it slide, but Klaus'S Depression is a consistent joke made throughout each season. They really try and hammer it home here. Klaus finally succeeds in life, but it wouldn't be an American Dad episode without everything going back to normal, so let's make Klaus depressed again. Besides that, it's a pretty great episode in terms of entertainment, but its message was so atrocious I just couldn't recommend it fast. I don't understand why Francine's such a garbage mother in this episode. She literally lets her daughter join a cult. If I was in the episode, I would have pulled an Undertaker Sasuke combo so fast. Rest in peace. Then I'm spitting on her grave afterwards. Apparently this is how she was taught by her parents, but this is so out of character for her. I remember when Francine took an 11-hour flight, dyed her hair, the whole 9 yards because Haley had lost her way. This time she just completely ignores it and then blames her reasoning on her parents when she's almost 50 and she's never done this in her life. If they hadn't made her a worse character over time, I would think they made this decision just to pad out the episode's runtime. Then they give some fake lesson with some sappy music in the background. I don't care. Everyone who cleared this episode needs to get spat on. This fat guy truly makes me think Helen Keller was onto something. A woman truly ahead of her time. This episode just sucked. So Jeff, Haley, Stan, and Francine have a dinner party. Stan and Francine decide to argue over something that really doesn't matter due to Jeff serving them dinner. So they go to the future, some wacky hijinks ensues, and then Francine takes past Stan because he's better or something, I don't know. That's not how the episode ends. It's just I cared so little for the episode and disliked it so much I refuse to watch it till the end. I mean, I'll do it for 10 likes. I'm a sucker for likes. Yeah, that's just about everything wrong with American Dad Season 18.